Wednesday, May 10. Gospel, Judgment, Creation. Look at the first angel's message. Everlasting gospel, hour of judgment, worship the Creator. Look at how closely related these ideas are. When we stand before our Creator in judgment, it's only the gospel that gives us any hope at all. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Romans 8 verse 1. No condemnation now, and certainly not in the judgment. The message of God as Creator is so central to the present truth, especially when evolution, even when dressed up in quote-unquote Christian garb, threatens to destroy the entire foundation of the Christian faith. Yet, amid the onslaught of evolutionary thought, God has raised up a church, a people whose very name itself is a witness against the idea of evolution. A people who are to proclaim the foundational truth of God as our Creator and Redeemer. Read Ephesians 3, verse 9.
And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the world hath been hid in God, who created all things by Jesus Christ.
Colossians 1, 13-17.
Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
Revelation 4 verse 11 and Romans 5, 17-19.
Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. For if by one man's offense death reigned by one, much more they which receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Jesus Christ. Therefore, as by the offense of one judgment came upon all men to condemnation, even so, by the righteousness of one, the free gift came upon all men unto justification of life. For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous.
What do these texts teach us about Jesus as Creator and Redeemer? Look at how closely tied Jesus as Creator is to Jesus as Redeemer. The moment that his role as Creator is diminished, as evolution inevitably does, his role as our Redeemer comes into question as well. Jesus comes to redeem us from sin, from death, from suffering, and from violence. When sin, death, suffering, and violence are, as evolution teaches, the very means of creation itself. God redeemed us from the very process he used to create us to begin with. It's a dangerous lie. And what makes it even worse is that evolution mocks the very idea of Jesus' death on the cross. Why? Paul at Romans 5, 17-19 inseparably links the introduction of sin by Adam to the death of Jesus. There is a direct link, then, between Adam and Jesus. In any evolutionary model, however, no sinless Adam could have introduced death, because death, millions of years of death, were supposedly the forces and powers that were needed to create Adam to begin with. Hence, right from the start, evolution destroys the biblical foundation of the cross. In contrast, Seventh-day Adventists, by calling the world to worship the Creator, stand as a living witness against this error.